Thanks for joining us today. We had a popular video on Agile product management. Let's focus in on the metrics. So, Q, tell us what are some metrics we want to look at for Agile product management?
Not only Agile, product management overall, there are a few things that you have to look. The first one is called innovation accounting. So it is awareness, that's number one. Number two is activation. Then we have retention, referral, and revenue. AARRR. So
R.
R,
It's
and
the
they are
pirate
called
metrics.
pirate metrics.
Hmm.
Yes. Look at awareness. So if you have a product, how many people are pre-ordering it? When I got my Galaxy S23 Ultra, beautiful phone, I was like, the moments for pre-order was clicking in there. And so did a lot of other people. So how many people are pre-ordering it, right? And how many people are signing up for the new service that you have or new product or etc. And then you go to activation, right? Okay, so I got a bunch of people who signed for the pre-ordering. How many of those people are actually ordering it, right? And how many people are activated, how many people are converting. And that's part of your success. Okay, so I got 1 million people pre-ordered, only 10,000 actually paid for the phone, right?
Hmm.
That's not the case. It was actually very successful for Samsung. And then there's retention, which is a very common thing with cell phone carriers, right? They're always trying to steal people from one another. They come with promotions and that's the thing. Retention. If you retain your people, it's a lot cheaper to retain a customer than to acquire a new one,
Hmm.
right? So, okay, so you got the phone now. Now, how many people want to get another one next year when the Galaxy 24 Ultra comes, right? So, how many people are retaining? How many people are not jumping ship? That's an important metric. And then when you look at that, there is another one, which is referral. And is what can be seen, not that simple, but did it go viral? Is everybody telling, hey, you have to buy this phone? This phone is really cool, right? In this case of the 23 Ultra, and I'm not paid by Samsung, I paid for the phone. If you just saw yesterday, came Samsung quarterly results, they made a boatload of money out of the S23 Ultra. They experienced a really bad situation with their memory business and all that stuff, but they are selling cell phones by the wazoo. So that's important. It went viral. People want to buy it, right? And then the final one of the R is the revenue. And that comes the three-letter thing, return on investment, right? In this case here, it paid randomly, right? I mean, they're selling a lot of phones.
Hmm.
So we can do all the other things right. We can have a lot of people signing up. We can have a lot of people converting the pre-orders into orders. But then, hey, I didn't sell enough to actually make any money out of this return on investment, right? So the pilot metrics, which the technical name is innovation accounting, it's very important to look at those things when you are a product manager.
Then there's North Star.
The North Star is your primary metric, so let's say before you have the phone even out of the door, what's your North Star? Hey, how many people are going to sign for pre-orders, right? So that's your North Star. Okay, now it has been on pre-orders for a month and we have, I don't know how many people, I'm making a number up. 2 million people who signed for pre-ordering the phone. Okay, cool. Now, at that point in time, you have to change your North Star. The North Star changes with the life cycle of your product. So what's next? Well, now we have the phones to ship. Let's see how many people actually we converted. How many people actually went there and put the credit card there and ordered the phone?
So, with all this, these are great metrics. Are there other metrics? And I've heard this term vanity metrics, right? That we're collecting these metrics, they're valid, but they really don't mean a lot. They just make you feel good if you're doing well. Can you explain a vanity metric?
Imagine this. I got 2 million people subscribing to my new Twitter competitor. Never, everybody now is a Twitter alternative, right?
Yep.
So I just launched a new Twitter alternative and 5 million people subscribed.
Mhm.
Oh man, that's great. Okay. How many of the 5 million are actually willing to pay for the service?
Mhm.
and then you get what, I don't know, 10,000 people. So hold on. You are bragging about the 5 million people who want your product. Are you monetizing this or not?
Mhm.
So you have to be careful not to get into vanity mode and say, I have this, I don't know, 50 million likes on Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah. How much money did you make out of that?
Mhm. Yeah. So these are great metrics. Let's take a look at some situations. For example, like business to consumer, right? B2C. I think if you're creating a product for, any user out there, right? I think these would apply, right?
Oh, yeah, pretty much so. I mean, that's where they actually originated, right?
Okay. So what about like business to business? If we were a company and we wrote enterprise software, would these also apply?
Well, I can see why not, because business to business, it just means that the other business is your consumer, right?
Mhm.
So
And so
it's,
maybe you're not gonna have millions of customers because there aren't that,
they tend
enterprises.
to be more stable business, but still,
Mhm.
if you don't have a good product or you don't have a good price point, you're
Right.
gonna have your retention is gonna be affected. So the retention metric is in there,
Mhm.
right? And
Retention,
you also need,
licenses, right?
yeah.
Right.
And if you have also the awareness thing, okay, you're doing business to business, but how many businesses even know that I exist?
Mhm.
And you also have the situation where we get and say, what about the referral, right? Because
Mhm.
okay, so how many businesses are telling the other business that they know, hey, you should be buying from these guys,
Not their competitor. They wouldn't tell their competitors if it's something
the
good, right?
competitor? But for instance, you and I worked in the same place for a while. Now I'm not there
Mhm.
anymore, right? But
Mhm.
I would say, hey, you know what? You should be buying the stuff that Dave's company sell because it's great stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So all these metrics apply.
Yeah, people network, right, across
What
industries,
people
and that's how
network
they
exactly.
spread the word, right?
So
Okay.
referral is in there for a reason. Referral is the cheapest market and is a very efficient one.
Okay. So let's say I do application development for an IT organization inside of an enterprise or a large company. Do any of these metrics apply to me? Because my customer is internal, it's the enterprise. So I don't
Okay.
go and I don't do, net promoter score internally or anything like that. Or do I? Should I?
Well, let's put the net promoter score on hold for just 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
Just because you're an internal IT department, it doesn't mean that you don't have to be concerned about retention. Because you and I know very well that if you have a very, let's be serious, lousy IT department, the
Mm-hmm.
service is not very good. The
Mm-hmm.
people inside the company in other departments, if they have the budget, they'll go around you.
Oh, and create a ghost IT department or a
Well, it
shadow
doesn't
IT
mean it's
department.
not a, let's imagine there's that you need cloud storage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your IT department, every time you request cloud storage, they pretty much ignore you. What you're gonna do next? Well, I have revenue, I have my funds, etc. You know what? We're a Microsoft shop. I'm gonna go and get SharePoint storage, OneDrive, whatever the hell Microsoft is selling, right? Because I have the budget and I'm gonna put all my stuff in there and just tell my IT department, you know what? You guys are very bad at providing services.
Right.
And that can happen in any chance. So is the retention part. Or hey, we need, I don't know, secure cell phones because we have confidential stuff. And you don't even know your IT department deals with that stuff. We're gonna go. You're gonna call a vendor who sells secure cell phones and buy them.
Right.
And that creates a lot of problems, especially the larger the company is even worse because conceivably you can have one department that say, well, IT serves us really badly. Let's buy from Microsoft. We're going to have OneDrive, corporate OneDrive or SharePoint. And then the other departments say, well, you know what? Let's buy storage from Amazon, from AWS. They're in, and at the end of the year, you're going to have two vendors doing two things for two departments, and the rest of the company doesn't even know this is going on.
Right.
So retention matters. Acquisition matters. You have to be always willing to tell your users, hey, I'm here to serve you. This is the things I can provide. What else do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
brings now the net promoter score, right? Net promoter score is basically saying, hey, how many people are willing to put a good word for you?
Hmm.
right? Where are your promoters? And I'm not going to get invoice calculator and etc.
Right.
But so it's very common to run surveys to figure out what our net promoter score is. And I seen some IT departments who their net promoter score was like minus 124 or something like that. I'm not kidding. And they wanted to at least get out of the negative territory in
I
2
thought
years.
negative 100 was the lowest score.
Oh, I was being facetious, okay? I was just
Okay.
messing around. But, it can be really bad, right?
Right.
But they just wanted to be out of the minus territory. Now, I told them you have to be careful with NPS because you are sending a survey, right? So you are acting based on the results of the survey, correct? Yeah. How many people actually answer the survey? Because
What
you can
percentage
go
of the people answered the
a
survey
percentage.
internally?
Okay,
Yeah.
but is that representative of the large population?
Right.
And we can get in discussions about statistics here, which I'm not qualified to have. But
Right.
think about this. You have to be careful how you interpret metrics,
Mm.
right? So I think the best advice and probably the final advice, so this doesn't get too long, is do not look at one index in isolation
Mhm.
because you're going to get some really bad surprises. You may say, well, we are following our North Star and everything is great. And then, so how come our ROI is not there? How come our retention is not there?
Mhm.
Right? How come our NPS is not there? So when you look at metrics in isolation, you are probably going to get the wrong picture because it's one thing. It doesn't give you the idea, the overall 30,000 feet, 50,000 feet, whatever height you want to be. You need to never look at metrics in isolation. So that's the short version. We could talk about this for a few hours, but I don't want to bore anybody to tears. And I want to have more different subjects for the next time we do a record.
Well, let us know, folks, if we've been getting feedback on our videos. So the information is in the description below how to contact us or put a comment. We want to know more about this type of metric or whatever. So feel free, let us know. We're happy to answer your viewer mail. So we're going to wrap this up. Q, thanks again for your time. Again, a great discussion, right? You need to look at the metrics for your product. And even if a product is a service, right? We've not just software. Could be hardware, it could be a service. So get the right metrics together. Don't look at one in isolation and avoid the vanity metric trap. And it doesn't matter if you're internal, external, B2C, B2B. So we got information below on our books, podcasts. Please take a moment. And if you stuck around this long, please hit like and subscribe so you never miss another video again. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.